Welcome to Bubbles and Breakdowns, a space designed for you to show up as your beautifully imperfect self, where we dive into the good, the bad, and the bubbly. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Katrina. All right. Hey, everybody. So good to be with you this week. Thank you for joining us. We just love seeing all of the downloads happening, and just a sincere shout out to each of you who are prioritizing us at the start of your week. We really appreciate you.
We feel the love.
We do. And this week, we're going to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome.
The not so love.
Yes. Do you guys know that phrase, fake it till you make it? Or have you ever found yourself in a new role, a big meeting, or even just a conversation, secretly waiting for someone somewhere to point at you and say, "You don't belong here"? Well, that sinking feeling is that echo of imposter syndrome. And today, we're going to share some of our battles with it. In this episode, we're going to get honest about the moments that we all have felt like frauds, from whether it was our early career missteps to navigating parenting. That one hits home. Or, just how we break down that crippling anxiety that comes from believing every achievement was just a fluke or a lucky mistake. But more importantly, we want to share how we continue to try and move past that feeling of being an imposter to embrace the real truth. There is no table that we've sat at that we don't belong at. Oh,
that really speaks to me.
Yeah. So I think for our listeners, for those who don't know imposter syndrome or haven't experienced it, let's just break it down. Like where does this come from and what does it mean? So, first of all, imposter syndrome means you feel like you are doing something that you are not qualified for, that you're not good at, that you are, in fact, an imposter of whatever that activity is.
And doubt is weighing you down.
Yes, you're just constantly a negative self-talking, or you're sitting there waiting for someone to realize that, you aren't the right person for whatever that task or job or position is.
Even as Katrina's talking, I'm not talking because I'm like, should I talk about this? I'm doubting my own self on our own podcast. No, but it's real, and it could be debilitating.
Absolutely. And I think it can definitely stall you and stunt you from achieving your true potential.
Absolutely.
And as we were talking before we got started today, we were like, where does this come from? And one thing we agree on and understand from a little bit of research is that this is learned behavior. Mm-hmm. Ashley, we think about when we're kids and you're learning to ride a bike. Well, you've never done that. So you're going to have a level of grace with yourself as a child, that childlike innocence and perseverance that says, yeah, I've never done this. So I'm going to keep trying until I figure it out. And you're going to fall a lot and you're going to get back up and get on the bike. But as we build this lifelong litany of things that we've achieved, I feel like we just start to expect too much from ourselves. Do you feel that way?
100%. And I'm really just processing that because it's so true. I remember, my first, comparing it to career, right? Because I think that's kind of where I was really driven and where I found the most self-doubt recently. Yeah. My first job, it's weird. I really didn't doubt myself that much. I just worked really, really hard to prove myself, right? Yeah. Every other position that came after, I did the same thing, but that doubt kind of inhibited me from achieving. I think it almost stunted me to kind of double check too much. If that, you know what I mean?
It's almost like you're taking out the you.
Yes.
Like you're editing too much, or you're doing what you think other people want you to do and not exactly what you would do if that wasn't in your head.
100%. And I remember my last role that I was in, I was doing a new project I had never experienced before. I had no prior knowledge. And that was the exact thing my boss said to me was, where's the Ashley in this? We hired you. Why are you where is that sparkle? Because I bring sparkle.
Yes, she does.
You know what I mean? And looking back, it really stunted me because I was just I have so much to prove. And again, these expectations I put on myself.
Yeah.
But I think there is so much pressure to grow in your career, grow fast, grow furious. And also in the time of like AI with all these new tools, you need to stay above. I think there was always that level of learning the innovative tools and bringing innovation to uplift your work. But I think even now it's so much more competitive because people are losing their roles.
I know. Yeah, all of these like Zoomers or alpha gens that are now like, oh, I use AI to do all of my things. I'm like, I just use it like Google and create images.
Same.
Sorry, hashtag millennial.
Totally.
Hashtag I'm learning AI.
I just used it for like puns for my friend's 40th birthday sweatshirt. Like, you know, yeah, it's like that's the tool that I want to use for. But it is like, how do we use intelligence better? So I think with all the stressors of more than career,
yeah,
we're gonna doubt ourselves.
Absolutely. As you're talking about career, I mean, ever present as I look back at my career, I have felt like an imposter at almost every single role, if not every role I've ever had. Unless it was just becoming another, server at a restaurant because I knew how to do that. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of confidence around it. But I mean, I'll trace it back to a digital art designer for a local music and nightclub. Then I became the manager of that same nightclub. Then I went on to become a temp to hire for a bids and proposals writing, something I'd never done. And then they hired me and I built a team of 3. And like the thing about it is that I never felt capable to do the role that I got. And I did a lot of on-the-job learning. And even with my most recent role, when I was tapped for it by someone who was an amazing sponsor in my career, I was shocked. I was like, are you kidding?
Who, me?
What? And then I said to myself, like, don't count yourself out before you count yourself in. Mm-hmm. Give it a try, Katrina. And I am still on the job learning every day to become what I want to embody. But in the early years, Ashley, like I made a lot of mistakes in this role, a lot of mistakes. And it was really hard. And there were days that I would cry and just say, why can't I be myself? Hearkening back to what you just said, like, right. Why can't I just let myself trust myself and be myself and bring my authenticity? And it was because imposter syndrome,
right?
100%.
Well, and like we were saying, again, we talked about this a little bit before, that this self-doubt and lack of confidence leads to this imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. And that is really shaped from our lived experiences.
100%. Like every time that you maybe felt like you weren't the cool kid or you weren't the smartest kid in class, or you didn't have the right answer, or maybe you just were like us where we didn't have 2 extremely engaged parents raising us to where we didn't maybe feel like in our subconscious that everyone was on our side or that we felt lifted up by our families in some way. I think all of those little things, Ashley, like have shaped how we view ourselves and our worth. Right. And our worthiness of the things that come along our path.
Right. So I have a question. Just hearing you share how you felt in all these different phases, all these different career moves and roles, how did you let yourself celebrate your successes? So if you were praised at work from project, mm-hmm. how did you feel about that?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I've won 2 big like corporate awards since I've been at my company. One was like this fantastic trip. The other one was some money and, some national recognition. And at that time, I was flabbergasted. I was like, are you serious? And I had a woman on that first award who was my boss at the time. And I was like, are you sure? And she goes, you don't get it, do you? You're incredible. You are amazing. And I was like, oh, if that's how you see me, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, I guess what I'm doing's working,
Like, I'm 1 foot out the door.
And I will say that another thing about myself, Ashley, is that I need verbal praise in order to know I'm trending in the right direction.
I am very similar.
Yeah, so it's like you want that attaboy, you want that you're doing great.
Right.
And sometimes it got to the point where like I would write a narrative of like, I'm not doing well because no one's told me I'm doing well. Mm-hmm. And then I would confront them and be like, am I not doing a good job? And like ask for the praise because I was like, I need to know.
Right.
But how did I handle it? I mean, I was very excited and I felt very proud, but I also still felt like, did I really earn this? You know, and I had that little bit of questioning. What about you? Like when you had moments of just like, you felt like you were kicking butt and taking names and just like rocking it out in whatever position you've had.
Totally. I think, you know, I don't think I used those moments, and this is like weird to say reflecting on this, strategically enough.
Yeah.
Where and I mean that from coming from, you know, I at one point put together a very, very heavy lift of kind of changing packaging and the look and feel of a product.
That's so up your alley, but also probably very hard.
It was amazing. And it got out into the market. And, you know, from all of that, sales went up 25%.
What?
In a quarter.
That's insane.
That they could probably attribute to the marketing, right?
Holy moly. That is a crowning achievement in marketing.
And I think for those of you that don't know, ROI in marketing is everything. And ROI is return on investment. So how do I prove the marketing dollar that was spent has a direct correlation to uptick in sales? That's hard to do, right?
And what she just described is called promotional mix modeling, where it's like, hey, we're going here with this dollar, we're going there with this dollar, and you did packaging. So you were saying the look and feel is going to change how people buy this product.
Exactly. You know, so like, does it have them grab it off the shelves or whatever? So I remember we had like an award too for something. I forgot like what it was called. And it was I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I did. I was like very happy. It didn't make me feel like I didn't deserve it, but I don't think that propelled me in the way it should have.
Yeah. Like
I got a little stagnant, and I think it should have given me more of a like, okay, what's next?
Yes.
Right. Or like, how do I look at this a little differently? And again, you grow and you change and you look at things in a different light. But yeah, I think I got stuck in that. I don't know.
You know what you're describing, and this was not planned at all, but it's coming up as this book that's called What's Got You Here Isn't Going to Get You There. And what you just described is being like, okay, yeah, I did the thing, but to get to that next level of whatever that looked like, maybe there was a gap in how you felt your capabilities were. And so you do kind of like level off and peak in a way because you're counting yourself out before counting you in. But then it is this like, it's requiring a different set of skills from
Absolutely.
you.
And I think that's where my imposter syndrome comes in.
Yeah.
Is at getting me to that next level.
Making the leap.
Exactly. And I think it's hard too, then you add in parenting.
What a humbling experience. Yes.
And I feel like the best, I think every mom, parent, guardian, whoever who has received a child at the hospital or anywhere else, when they're like, okay, you can go home now.
You're like, huh?
That is the biggest imposter syndrome moment of your life.
Yeah.
I'm like, you entrust this 2-day-old creature, not creature. Sometimes they act like creatures or
living
monsters.
Human being,
breathing, eating machine to just come home with me and work into my fold. Mm-hmm. Like, okay,
yeah,
I can do this. And then like day 3, I can't do this.
I mean, I even like thinking about parenting in those early months, whatever. I remember showing up to like breastfeeding support groups and being like, do I belong here? Like all these ladies are just whipping out their boobs. The kids are suckling like pros. And I'm over here like, I've got flat nipples and we're having a difficult time latching. And I'm like, I'm not a mom.
Oh
like,
God,
if I can't do this.
What was that called? The nipple
creams.
Yes. Or balms.
Balms or what they call udder butter.
Yeah, can we get a better name for that? I mean, I get it, clever marketing, but like, come on.
I know. But I mean, truly, like, and that kind of brings me to that thought of comparing ourselves to other people or where other people are at, or in that case, it was a biological difference, and be expecting that of ourselves. Like, hey, first of all, you're not going back to career, you're not going to be this like insanely savvy marketer day won on the job. Mm-hmm. That's your entry point.
Right.
That you get the ticket to play. Mm-hmm. And then what you do from there and how you build those skills is on you. Same thing with parenting.
Totally.
Is like, here's your ticket to entry. You have a healthy baby by the grace of whoever you believe in. And now you get to build those skills. But we don't look at it that way because I believe we're confronted with all these other people that we're comparing ourselves to, of like, you know, whether it's the perfectly put together mom that shows up to the support group that has eyelashes on. I'm like, what? I could barely brush my teeth, and you're welcome.
I could barely open my eyes, let alone have stuff on them.
Or even just like the crippling anxiety of postpartum and then like forcing myself to leave the house. Like they are not where you are.
No.
And I think that's that childlike innocence that we all need to ground ourselves with all new experiences, coming into it with a fresh set of eyes and kindness to ourselves.
Well, and even you brought up comparison. I think us being first-time moms during COVID, we were stuck at home with so much social media time that I think that set up a delusional like
we're delusional, everybody,
of like how this is supposed to go.
That was all we could see, right? And like we didn't have as many opportunities to sit with other moms and say it's okay, I'm also there, and like and you know, some people did this. These were our choices, right? Like during the pandemic to keep ourselves the stay at home kind of life. But I agree, it was like we were disconnected from reality and we were plugged in to a fake reality on these social media platforms.
Totally.
And like that didn't help, you know?
And like comparison is the biggest thief of our joy.
Yeah.
And we can't.
And confidence.
So let's steal that shit back.
Agree.
Like, right? And so how do we shake off this feeling?
I'll start and I'll say hard work. Just stay in it. You know, whatever it is. I think that's where I have continued to arrive at good places in my life, whether it's personally or professionally, is that you do the work. You know, you don't let it beat you down and you keep showing up and show that you care. I think that's really big for me, Ashley, is like when people know you care, even if you're making mistakes and you have good intention and you have good work ethic or you have accountability, responsibility, whatever part of your life that's showing up in, I mean, doesn't that go, it counts for something.
Absolutely. It really does. And to talk more about how you're saying hard work, I feel like my biggest mentor in life, because this is how I've gotten through part of this too, is if you don't feel prepared for something, you're not going to come off confident. And I think there's a lot of times we gloss over preparedness, even for a meeting. You know what I mean? Where it's, what's the agenda today? What's whatever. But do you have something valuable to add to that meeting? What is that structure? And you need to look at things ahead of time, right? And I have a great example where I was delivering this big presentation that I worked on for weeks. And what my mentor said, and it stuck with me before I was going to deliver this presentation, and I had to do it multiple times. It was being recorded. It was going to be saved and given to the whole company, was, I know you're doubting yourself by how much you've prepared for something. And it wasn't a slight. It was like a, hey, I want you to do good. I want you to be confident. I want you to kick everything else to the curb. She said, practice.
Yes.
Review your stuff. If you know it, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And that is so, so true. That hard work and that determination to know your end product or your whatever you're working on just helps you if you're getting any nerves or imposter syndrome in that room you're sitting in.
I love that so much. And it reminded me of something I had heard, and it may have been on Mel Robbins, but you know, it was.
Shout out, Mel. We know you're listening.
She's got so much free time. So it was this episode about a man who started, you know, to work his way up. And his first job was cleaning a floor. And he went into it saying, I'm going to clean this floor like I'm going to make $1 million from cleaning this floor. And so he did it with excellence, the cleanest floor you'd ever see. And everything he did from there was, I'm going to pretend as though I'm getting paid $1 million to do this. And it was everything that he did was with a high degree of excellence. And the way that you clean the floor is the way that you're going to do everything else in your life. And I sat with that, and I say that to myself now. I'm like, are you making $1 million to do this thing? Are you treating it that way? If you're not, can you? And I know it's a high expectation. It requires a lot of grit and dedication, but those are the things that people look for in us as humans, how we do things. It's not always what we do, but how we do it. And I always say in my career, as I look at acquiring talent to the team, it's character over skill every single day.
Totally. Skill can be taught.
Absolutely.
You can teach someone a software. You can teach someone how to do things. Those soft skills, you can't.
Accountability, humility, kindness, all of those things, integrity. If you hire someone for integrity, accountability, and people who care, I'm going to tell you what, you're going to be happy with that because they're going to continue to show up, they're going to continue to learn, and they're going to continue to thrive in the right direction.
And they'll want to learn, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what really sets some people apart is they want to learn. They want to do better for you and themselves.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing for me in individuals, we shouldn't be hiring people who are exactly like us or even trying to be moms like other moms. Like we are uniquely ourselves, shaped by our beautiful trails we've traversed and our shared experiences.
Or not so beautiful.
Or not so beautiful.
Some dark and stormy nights.
Yes, we've got our not so polished parts, but that's what makes us unique. It builds perspective. It creates value in any space because if we are being ourselves and showing up with the best of intentions and integrity and being accountable, that's good. That's good enough. So it's not about being perfect. It is about embracing yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's what gets rid, ultimately, if you can get to that place, by imposter syndrome, you don't even have it anymore.
And I think too, from speaking from a corporate standpoint, there's been studies on diverse backgrounds and diverse people and diverse thinking and what people bring to the table. Being different makes for a better outcome because you're considering, right, all these different people and all these different thought processes to create something. So be yourself.
Yeah. Everybody else is taken, is that little cliche saying, right?
Da-da-da.
It's so cliche, but it's so true. And I
is.
think it's also extremely empowering to be like, well, sometimes empowering and sometimes it can be overwhelming because sometimes you may not feel grounded in yourself and you might go, wait a second, I don't know exactly what my voice is on this, or I don't know exactly how I personally feel about this yet. And that's okay too. You're going to figure it out.
Right.
But it is this empowering state of all you have to do is be yourself, show up, put the work in, and people are going to see you for the beautiful individual you are. And if they don't, not everybody is going to, but know that that's not a reflection of you as long as you can go to bed at night knowing that you did your best in the job, did your best as a parent, as a friend, whatever that looks like. I think you do belong, you belong at whatever table you're sitting at.
I love that. You belong.
Yeah. And I think everybody experiences this. As I was talking to my husband about imposter syndrome, no one is
unscathed.
Yeah, no one's coming away without ever feeling like they are kind of faking it till they make it.
Right.
And if they did, then wow, you're the most confident, capable person I've ever met.
I think that's going to be my new thing. I'm going to get up in the morning and just be fake it till you make it. I think because I seriously, every day, faking it in the grocery store.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives me good feels. Is that weird?
No, not at all. There was this guy in my hometown that you'd see walking around downtown dressed up like he was going to the fanciest church with a briefcase. And I swear he did not have a job.
Nope.
But it was
full of McDonald's napkins.
Yeah, I know, right? But he wanted to embody that and wanted to dress for whatever it was he wanted in his life.
Yeah.
And kind gentleman in every way. So it's do it.
And you know what? There's really something to be said about getting ready for the day.
Yes.
Where I am in my life, I don't have the venti coffee today, but I still got a crazy toddler who cries at all hours of the night. But put yourself where you want to be.
Yeah.
right? Whatever gets you going, whatever gets you happy and feeling good, like don't discount that
Yes.
because that's very, very important for how your day will unfold. And guess what? You can change how you feel within the same day.
Absolutely.
Meaning, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you don't feel, you kind of wake up with this imposter syndrome. Like, figure out what works for you to get you out of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Is it the coffee, the lipstick, a good dance song? Like, what is it?
I love it.
Find your zhuzh, I don't know, your bubbles.
Yes.
To pull you out. Life's too short to wallow.
Yep. And then ground yourself in knowing every other person has likely felt this as well.
Everybody.
And then buckle up and get it done. I love it.
You belong at the table. We're
Yes.
glad you're at ours.
Yes. And you guys, please remember that after every breakdown,
Don't forget the bubbles.
and if you're enjoying Bubbles and Breakdowns, we hope that you are. Please show your love, support, and click the follow button, click the share. Send this episode to somebody who might be struggling with this topic today. And just know that we appreciate you. Thank you for your support, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys. Later.